Alrighty. So good morning, everybody. It's William Chung, founder of CoreTradingConcepts.com and author of A Guide to Core Trading Concepts. Um, so today's video, I believe it's going to be video number 8. We're going to take a quick look at the markets and basically try to trade them accordingly. As usual, bottom right corner is going to be my time and sales window. Right beside that is my level 2 window. Slightly above that on the right side is going to be my executions window. Top right corner is my positions window. And for charts, we have a 2-minute chart, 5-minute chart on the top left. Middle left is going to be my 15-minute chart. And directly below that at the bottom left corner is my hourly chart. I've already marked off all the areas of potential support and resistance on the 15-minute chart, as well as targets on the hourly chart, and we're going to trade this market accordingly. I'm going to be trading the IWMs, which is the ETF equivalent of the Russell 2000, and with that much said, there's a little bit of a diversion with regards to what's going on with the major market indices today. The IWMs is gapping down, while the SPY, or the Standard & Poor's 500 index, is gapping up. So with that much said, I suspect that we're going to have some momentum to the downside on the IWMs, and if the SPY remains strong, we can see the IWMs perhaps move up a little bit higher. So the plan today is going to be perhaps trade the gap period or gap time to the downside, followed by flipping over, reversing, and then going long, providing that the SPY remains strong and drags the IWMs up. How far up? Not really sure, but we'll read the charts accordingly, and we'll make the decisions as we see them appear on the charts. With that much said, it is a gap play, so it is a gap time period where we're going to try to take advantage of a scalping opportunity, and hopefully it leads into a bigger play. So there's only a few more minutes before the market opens. As you can see, the first tick came in on the pre-market charts. We have the IWMs looking like they're going to open around the 141.51s at this moment. And we'll try to short them. And then, as I said earlier, we'll try to flop over, reverse, and then go long based on whatever the market is going to, however the market is going to drive the stock. Under normal circumstances, I would like to display how to trend trade the markets in order to reap greater rewards or larger amounts of profits. However, problem with that is in order for me to do that, it would probably be a 2, maybe 3-hour video, of which is quite time consuming to watch a video that takes that long. Hence, that's the reason why most of these videos are basically short in nature, preferably under an hour, and of scalping routine. But I'll try to apply some trend trading methodologies in this, or at least explain them as I go. So the market should be opening up in the next minute or two, and we'll try to take advantage of any gains or any type of opportunities that present itself. So with that much said, we'll just wait for the opening gap and trade it accordingly. Alrighty. So looks like the markets are going to 141.57, or the Russell 2000, and should be a few more seconds. We'll probably hit it with aggressively with a short for the gap play, and then make their determinations as we go. Alrighty, so the markets are open. We'll give it a second or two. Okay, Whoops. All right, so we're going to hit this for 500 shares. As you'll note on the 15-minute chart, it looks like it went into an area of potential resistance up ahead, and it's still going down. My average price is currently in the 55s. Current price is at the 50s, and perhaps we'll hit this a little bit more if it goes below the 50s. All right, so there's some 49s there. Nope, not yet. Let's see if it can break below this 54 area here, potential area of support. Okay, here we go. So I'm up to 800 shares. We'll keep a close eye on this. My average price is now in the 53s. Okay, so it's looking pretty good right now. Whoops, maybe not. Alrighty. So if this price comes back into, let's say, 42s or 40s, we'll start scaling out. All right, so let's take 500 shares off the table. If it goes to, let's say, the 44s, we'll take off. There we go. Nope. All right, so if it goes to, let's say, the 41s, we'll take, whoops, we'll take it all off. All right, so now we're flat. And maybe we took that too much off it off too soon. So let's take a look at this on the other side. Let's say if the price comes, breaks the 30s down here, which is just a little bit lower than, or makes a new low or around the low of the day, we'll open up a new position. If it goes above, let's say, the 45s, we're going to swap over and reverse and then go long. Whoa. All right. So that was a hard move. So I'm in at the 50s right now with 600 shares. And we're going to keep an eye on the low of the day. Hopefully we don't, if it goes back down to the low of the day, we're going to close out this position. My current price is at the 50s and the current price is at the 46s. Alrighty, so we're back at close to break-even area, which is quite comforting. First target area is going to be the high of the day of the opening bar, and second target, if it makes it up there, will be the prior day's close, which is a green dotted line on the 5-minute chart. And of course, if it goes to the 55s, we're going to take some more shares. All right. Getting ready to add some to the 55s. Oh, All right, so we're up to 1,000 shares. Average price is the 53 and a halves. Looking for the 60, I'm not sure what that is, 67s. And we'll start protecting our position as it goes into this upper topping tail area. We'll get ready to exit some of that position. Okay, so far it's looking okay. Of course, if the bottom of this bar here gets taken out, which is roughly around the 45s, that's where our exit point is going to be. We like to see this tail taken out as an ideal situation, which is both reflective on the 2-minute and the 5-minute charts, as you can see. You'll note that my current average price is the 53s, 54s. Current price is the 59s. Current realized profit is $85, while the unrealized is $40. Alrighty, so we need this bar here, the 2-minute bar, to break over this area. We need a little bit of a sign of conviction or some form of follow through to make this convincing. Alrighty, so this looks fairly bullish still. We'll keep an eye on that really closely. As I mentioned, the prior day's closing area will be a target if this exceeds this tail, but we're going to begin to start protecting our position. But we're at this point with our break even at the 53s, 54s, we're going to make sure it does not break the 55s. The 55 area, which is roughly about this area here, is what we need to protect. All right, we're going into breaking over, coming into the prior day's close, so we've got to be careful with this. And looks like if we see any type of topping tail or any type of selling pressure into this area here, going into prior day's close, we're going to consider scaling out, potentially even reversing the position. All right, there's a lot of red going through the time and sales right now, so I'm going to start, I'm going to take about half of it off the table, put some money in the bank there. Okay, now it's reached a prior day's close, as you can see, and I'm going to take off 200 more shares. That's a lot of red going through the time and sales right now. So I'm actually considering reversing this position if there's not enough strength being shown. Okay, looks like I'm going to take off the rest of the shares simply because this doesn't seem like it's a lot of strength going into this prior day's close. If it opens or if it goes higher, let's say than the 85s or 83s, we'll consider reopening the position. Of course, we want major area of our contemplation is to ensure that we bank some money and be a little bit cautious about protecting our capital as well as preserving our realized and unrealized profits. So I guess if it goes into the 80, prints the 83s, wow, still a lot of red, huge amount of red here. We're going to take a position shortly either to the upside or the downside. We'll let the market decide that. And right now it's favoring the downside at the prior day's closing area. Alrighty, so I'm going to take a 200 share position going short. And if we get any momentum, I'll add more. All right, so here we go. I'll add another 300 shares to short. All right, so the high of the day, which is this bar here, that's just been established, will be my stop out point. I now have 500 shares short at the 75s. Current price is between the 76s and the 77s. High of the day is the 82s. So if the price revisits the 82s, I'll be out of this trade. If it makes a new low or this market starts looking very bearish and with a potential follow through, let's say the low of this bar is the 73s. If it goes down to the 70s, whoops, I'm going to add more. Alrighty, so I'm up to 900 shares, and this bar forming here is a high of 71s. My average is the 72s. I'm going to add another share. Just to keep it at a round number 1,000. If the top of this bar, which is the 71s, so if the 72s or 73s get hit, or the price comes back up to 72s or 73s, I'm going to close out this trade and eat a very minor loss based on my average price. All right, so here we go. So we have up and down during the gap play period of time. We're currently roughly about 13 minutes into the market, and we're actually doing quite well. Current realized profit is $304. Unrealized profit is currently at $163. If this goes well, we're going to look forward to playing this bar down to, let's say, the low of the day, which is roughly, well, it's exactly going to be the 34s. And hopefully it exceeds it. If it exceeds it, we're looking at maybe potentially the 20s, I guess that would be about the 25 to take profit or reevaluate, at least protect the money. But even with the bars moving as favorably as they are today, I think the 60s is going to be where I'm going to start protecting the position if it starts moving against us. Now, I am being exceptionally aggressive this morning. So I hope everybody that's watching this video becomes about excessively well reversed at everything I'm doing before they attempt to do what I am doing at the moment. All right, so it's coming into, looks like it's about 5 cents away from the low of the day, which is roughly the 32s, 33 area. We'll have to guard against that in case the price bounces. Next, but the target would be around the 25s. And we'll see how price reacts to it there. We have a little bit of green coming in, which is on the time and sales, which is fine. We got a lot of profit built up into this trade right now. So with that much said, if the price comes back into, let's say, the 40s, 140, 140 area, we're going to really tighten up, protect the losses, or protect any profits. We'll get ready to pull the trigger on this one. All right, looking for the 25s in here. Okay, definitely slowing down, as you can see. It's not taking on that huge momentum that I'd like to see. Whoops. Alrighty, as I mentioned earlier, at the 40s, we're going to protect the position and take some shares off the table. Alrighty, so as you can see, there was a little bit of buying that's taking place inside this area here. We're going to look at the 25s to start thinning out the position by covering our short position. Alrighty, here we go. $26s. All right, so we're going to take off about half right about here. We'll put that, we'll bank that. Alrighty, so we'll see how it reacts into this area here. As you've seen on the 2-minute chart, while we were studying this quite closely, there was a little bit of buying taking place into this area going into the area of support. Which makes, so with that much said, we're going to make this bar here, the high of this bar, our new stop out for the balance of our position. The high of this bar is the 38s, so yeah, we'll keep it around the 40s. Alrighty, market's definitely slowing down. As you can see that these candles started, the path of these candles seems to be getting a little bit smaller, a little bit more confusion, or a little bit of contest between the bulls and the bearish players. For trend traders, if you look to the 5-minute chart, you'll notice that price turned right at the prior day's closing line. So this would have been the entry to the short side for trend traders. Rationale behind this is the IWMs basically gapped down, ran down, came back up trying to go green on the day, did not succeed going green, turned red, and kept on going back down. So there's a bit of a short bias or a bearish bias to this chart already. So trend traders would have entered at the prior day's closing price with a stop at the high of the day, just above the high of the day. That would have been roughly around the 86s, maybe 87s, and would have been riding this to the downside. Okay, so we do have tails going back and forth here, upper tail, lower tail, upper tail, lower tail on this area here on the 2-minute chart, and a little bit of sidewaysness taking place. We'll have to evaluate this and determine whether or not the scalp slash gap trade is pretty much done. If we start encountering that choppiness, I think the market will make that decision for us. But when we encounter that choppiness, we could very well call it the end of the video, as there won't be much to talk about by that point in time. Alrighty, so now a whole bunch of conviction by the bullish players on the 2-minute chart, as you can see. Little bit of green, red back and forth on the time and sales. Things seem like they're slowing down quite a bit. Price is just vacillating on the NBPO, as you can see, a little bit back and forth, but doesn't seem to be a huge amount of conviction to one extent or one side or the other. If in the event that the price goes over this 5-minute bar, which the price would be the 40s, so 141.40s, that might be considered a potential long. However, please note that this is IWMs is experiencing a bearish day, so it makes it very difficult to try to consider going long at this moment. However, it's not impossible. It just means it's potentially a counter trend trade, which is not as favorable as trading in the direction of the trend. Okay, so now we have what potentially looks like a 2-minute buy setup or a long entry. Well, perhaps not with this red candle. Alrighty, so if the price goes below, let's say the 20s, the 141.20s, which is the low of the day, we'll consider adding to the position, providing we have a lot of conviction as displayed on the level 2 and the time and sales. I'm reluctant to go long unless the price exceeds the 141.40s, the high of this specific bar, only because the momentum is to the downside at this point in time. It's moving fairly far away from the gap time or a gap play time. Okay, lots of red. And we'll see if it can break to the low of the day or lower. Yeah. Looks like that's getting taken away again. Alrighty, so we are roughly about 5 minutes away from any type of economic news that's going to be coming out. If there is, the 10 o'clock reversal time. Alrighty, so we're clearly seeing this sideways action on the 5 minute chart, sorry, the 2 minute chart. This sideways action is might mean that we're going to end this video soon. Um, as you can see on the 5 minute chart, a little bit of sideways action here as well. Price really is beginning to go into a small little range here. As you can see on the 15-minute chart, looks like price could have bounced off of this area of major support. Didn't break through by very much, but seems to be holding a little bit there. Not much to say on the hourly chart. Hourly chart looks, well, it's simply one bar into that one target range, which makes it fairly attractive to finish up with the scalp trade or any type of short-term minor time frame trade. Okay, so it looks like we have a little bit of a momentum move to the upside. Not a huge amount of conviction, but it is a positive sign or a bullish sign. So the play would be if the price moves up for a retracement, we would look into this area here, roughly about the halfway mark of the range of the day for a reversal and short it back to the downside if this takes place. So we have this type of a move up, down, up, retracing less than half of the entire day's move, looking for a reversal bar, short it back to the downside. Okay, so looking at the bars right now, it doesn't look like we're going to get that move to the upside, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, we need to see a new low of the day taking place here. This is looking very sideways and not attractive to trade for an extended period of time unless you're trend trading. As I speak right now, we've already gone into roughly about 35 minutes of this video. All right, so topping tails looking still fairly bearish. Selling pressure, as we can see. And there we go. So we have a new low of the day. With some more green. All right, so maybe we'll just hold on to the 500 shares. Nah, I tell you what. Not a whole bunch of conviction, even though it broke the low of the day. Not looking very, not, doesn't seem like there's much momentum at the moment. Alrighty. So for trend traders that might be playing this, the stop still should remain at the original entry area, which should be roughly around the 141.83 to 87 range. Entry to the short side on this candlestick here, with the intention to ride the momentum to the downside. Um, this is a fairly weak pivot, not a whole, but not a very much of a V shape, but it does have a little bit more of a high. If we have a little bit more downside move, trend traders may want to consider moving their stop to right above this bar here. This bar here is 141.34, so a stop to 141.37 would be ideal, which would be roughly around this range here. That way you bank some, or not bank some profits, but you protect your profits. Alrighty, so it's challenging the lows again into this area. And now it's not challenging the lows. Alright, so we'll keep an eye on this area. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it a little bit deeper into the scalp mode. We do have a little bit of a downtrend, what looks like a downtrend on the 2-minute chart. Not much, but there is a significant amount of selling pressure. I think what I'll do is I'll probably take off, let's say 300 shares right here, and put some more money into the bank, with the anticipation this is probably going to hold a little bit longer. If price rides up, let's say into the 30s area or 28s or something like that, I'll rebuild my position, providing that this trend still rides its way to the downside. And we'll see if we can capitalize on that. All right, so it's coming back into the 22s. So let's say if the price comes up close to the 30s, we'll probably build our position a little bit. That way we have a little bit of idea of a potential trend on the 2-minute time frame, albeit not much. A lot of selling pressure from what appears on the 5-minute chart, which is sort of supports the concept of shorting if the price comes back up into this range here. Perhaps the 28s or so. '28s, 30s. Actually, that might be a pretty good idea. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into the 30s. If the price comes up to the 30s, it'll establish a nice little, what looks like a downtrend line. The 2-minute chart actually looks very, very attractive for a big fallout. This type of meandering Selling pressure on the 5, 2 minute, almost like a ball bouncing. It almost looks like there's a potential collapse that's going to take place. So I'll definitely be building up my size right uh, around the 30s and then exit the entire position if it goes to, let's say, the 35s or so. All right, 28s, a lot of selling pressure. I'm going to start increasing my size to the short side. I'll take on 200 more shares when this goes to the 29s, which is right now, which I actually added 300 shares. All right, so now I'm up to 1,000 shares. My average price is the 34s. And we're looking for a little bit of a downside move here. Alrighty, so as we can see, as I was mentioning earlier, this is a pattern that I'm somewhat familiar with. I'm more familiar with this pattern taking place on the 5-minute chart, not so much on the 2-minute chart, but the intention is that this type of a move to the downside, let me zoom out a little bit. This type of a movement to the downside where it cannot make a new high. Matter of fact, it seems to be meandering down here while it keeps making new lows. Although it looks sideways, as you can see, there's new lows being made. It's almost like you can draw a trend line, like a ball bouncing that's running out of momentum, that's just about to go off the edge of a table or fall off the cliff. That's what I'm actually seeing here, which I'm more accustomed to seeing on the 5-minute chart. So there is a little bit of a risk that I'm playing this based on pattern recognition. That may or may not take place, but nonetheless, that's what one of the patterns that's been ingrained within me. Alrighty, so we got a little bit of a downside move. Just a quick review of my position summary. I'm at for 1,000 shares short. Average price is the 34s. Current price is the 22s. My current profit and loss per share is roughly about 14 cents. Total quantity of shares is 6,200 so far. A little bit higher than normal for this short period of time of this video. My unrealized profit is 145. My realized profit is 704. And we'll just see how this plays out. On the same note, as I mentioned earlier, this candle, we're seeing a little bit of a slope here, lower lows, lower highs, and I don't suspect that, I think that there's enough downward pressure that might potentially cause a collapse. This green bar here is actually unusual. I would have suspected this to turn red and make another new low, which is what I would anticipate seeing. Not so much this almost sideways action on this 2-minute bar. But let's zoom in a little bit so it makes it easier to see. So this bar here, I'd like to see it make a new low. Yep. Perhaps not. All right, so my exit point is going to be roughly around my break even. The 141.34s. I won't take a loss for this, not with 1,000 shares, with momentum going against me. For trend traders, as I mentioned earlier, the stop should still remain at the high of the day, just above the high of the day. If a new low gets made with a red bar that breaks the low of the day, that holds itself below the low of the day, then I would use this bar here, the high of this bar plus a few pennies as the new stop loss area. And that would be roughly 134 or 141.37 area. Okay, so as we can see, these higher low area, we'll have to gauge that in conjunction with the 5-minute chart. Okay, lower high, that's what we want to see. Okay, this looks like a firm red bar. Hopefully it stays firm and red, not into one of these tails and small body, lots of tail kind of a thing. We want to see this to be a hard bar. And we want to see, preferably, it break the low of the day. And I think it might. This is showing a lot of, I like this bar. I like the momentum I see here from this 5-minute candlestick. All right, so there we go. New low of the day. The NBBO is currently the 10s by the 11s, and we got a little bit of selling pressure. Nice big firm red bar taking place here. This downside move looks like it might continue a little bit more. I'm not sure how far it will go. But we're going to hold this position. Okay, so we're going to have to make a decision here. If let's say, the 18s get broken, we're going to take at least half of the position off the table to protect some profits here. We don't want this to, we want to see if it challenges these low area, this baseline area, before we see if it can move to the downside. We don't want to see it challenge this area and keep going higher. That would be that wouldn't be too terribly productive for us. So maybe the 18s will start scaling off a portion of our position, at least half of it. Okay, so that looks good. Hopefully we get more power into that and make a new low of the day. That'd be quite a positive sign for our position. Trend traders, it would be a safe time to move your stop from the high of the day to this potential weaker pivot, but it looks like it might be a safe idea to protect some of the profits at this point. So the stop should go to 141.37. Alrighty, so low of the day is being challenged. That's attractive. I might have mentioned it inside of previous videos, but I'll mention it again. Usually the high of the day and or the low of the day is established by 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It's now currently 10:16 a.m. I suspect that this high of the day will hold and remain as the high of the day for the rest of the day. As for the IWMs and the SPY, I enjoy trading them specifically because they have an average daily range of roughly about $1. So the anticipation that from the high of the day to potentially the low of the day will have that $1 range. I suspect we might hit it during the period of time of this video. So the high of the day is roughly about the 80s, maybe 81s. I'm not sure what the high of the day is. High of the day is the 82s, 141.82. So I suspect that the price will probably drop down to 140, 140.80, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. We'll keep an eye on it. And that's another nice little move here. But the anticipation is that the price will move roughly about $1 in our favor. And I suspect, as I mentioned earlier, I suspect this is the high of the day, 141.82. So we're going to take a look at and see what happens when the price starts nearing 140.80 to 140.80 area. If we see any type of buying or any type of buying pressure, we're going to need to consider taking action to protect our position. But right now, that's a nice hard move that favors our position. Oh my goodness. All right, so even harder move. So it's clearly exceeding that average daily range by a little bit so far. We're going to keep an eye on this. We may need to take some profits off the table. All right, so let's make some decisions here. If the price exceeds, let's say, the top of this bar, this bar's high is the 85. So if the price exceeds the 86s, we're going to take at least half off the table. So that's quite a nice little momentum move to the downside, as you can see on the 5-minute chart, which means that I need to find me a target. Alrighty, so it looks like there's a potential target down at the 140.37 range. So the 140.37 range on the hourly chart 140.34 range, sorry, seems to be a potential target, final target even, that we're going to need to keep an eye on. All right, so clearly the price has exceeded the $1 average daily range area. Looks like the momentum is still to the downside, so I'm going to expand this chart a little bit so you can see this line. This line here is roughly around the 34s, 140.34 range. This is the target. And we'll see if we have enough momentum here to get there on these bars here. This is quite a little bit of a move, so I do suspect that there will be a little bit of buying pressure, perhaps not enough to cause it to retrace by any significant amount, but enough that there's enough selling here that there's going to be a little bit of buying. Alrighty, so quick review of the position summary. 1,000 shares short. Average price is the 34s. Current price is 140.50s. Current profit per share is 84 cents. Unrealized profit is 8.55. Total shares so far, not including what I have as the open position, is 6,200. Realized is 704. Net profit and loss is 15.49. And we're currently roughly just shy of an hour, about 55 minutes into the trading day. Alrighty, so I guess with the price moving as hard as it is, we don't want this bar to be violated or a green bar to take out the highs of this bar. So this bar is the 140.66s. If it goes to 140.69, we're going to eliminate this trade and call it a day, since we're coming up to already an hour into this video. All right, so as we mentioned earlier, a little bit of buying pressure here. Rather than let it go all the way up to the 69s, 140.69, I'm going to take off, let's say, half of it here. All right, so now the video is officially at the 1 hour mark, which is going a little bit longer than I wanted it to go, but our profits are definitely resembling this to be a worthwhile video or worthwhile trade. Specifically because I'm using 100 share lots as opposed to 500 share lots, but that's okay. It's for educational purposes. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to end this video, but I'm going to provide a review while I continue trading. but I'll end the video at this point in time. All right, so where to start? On the hourly time frame, as you can see in this lower chart here, we have a little bit of sideways action, not a whole bunch of things going on the hourly chart. We have a descending 20-period moving average. The price gapped down and ran down. It actually broke through several areas of potential support. Looks like it's going towards the 37s, 140.37 as a potential area of target. And it's a fairly weak day on the IWMs. On the 15-minute chart, we're basically looking at the same thing, a little bit sideways going into this area here. We did detect that with this gap down, we wanted to short it. If price rescinded up to the prior day's close, we were going to short it again. I believe I mentioned something along the lines that I was going to go long if this reversed because the spiders were gapping up. But the intention was to, on the 5-minute chart, was to take a short, and then if we seen any sign of reversal, we were going on the 2-minute chart, we were going to go long, and the prior day's closing price was going to be the area that we were going to continue short with a short bias. So with that much said, it seems like everything played itself out. We also read this area here, which had lower highs, wasn't really making, it was hard to tell whether or not it was making lower lows. But this was more of a pattern recognition area. Let me exit or zoom out. And so this was a pattern that I'm quite familiar with, more so on the 5-minute chart than I am on the 2-minute chart. But this pattern here tends to lead to a move to the downside. It did fulfill, which is surprising on the 2-minute chart, because sometimes the 2-minute chart could be a little bit on the deceiving side. But nonetheless, it did do what exactly, well, pretty close to what we anticipated. There were a few bars that didn't actually play out. So with that much said, my current position summary window set, I'm trading the IWMs 500 shares. My average posted price is the 26th is 141.26, which puts my price into this consolidation area where it was going sideways. Last price is 140.47. So my current position, I'm currently up roughly about 77 cents. Unrealized profit is $393. Total shares at this point is 6,700. Realized profit is 1,141. So with that much said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to conclude the video, but I will post the final results so that way everybody can see basically the progress. Unfortunately, I won't be able to post, well, actually I'll post what's seen here rather than how the trade ended without you actually having an authentic video that displays my actual trading. So these are the results. I'll post the net. Actually, I should write that down. So, shares is 6,700. Realized is going to be 1,141. And we're going to, for the time, we're just going to call it 1 hour. Whoops. Here we go. Looks like we're getting that downside move. We're going to look for the 37s after all. Maybe I'll have to hold off for a few minutes here. Alrighty, so 5 minute chart. Upper tails, a little bit of a bottoming tail here. We'll have to evaluate this a little bit. We're clearly in a nice position. Average price is 141.26. Last price is 140.48. We're up almost 80 cents, between 75 and 80 cents so far on the trade. Unrealized profit is 388. And we're potentially going to move down again. It's hard to tell right now, but we're potentially going to move down again. At least I suspect that we will. Actually, I'm positive we will. Lots of purple. Lots and lots of purple. That's a very, very good sign for shorts. The purple means that it's hitting prices well below the NBBO, which means that it's taking out all the legs of the bridge or all the support areas ahead of time. Okay, a little bit of purple, not only for 300 shares, but lots of green as well. So basically, it looks like the braces that hold the bridge up are getting taken out ahead of time. We'll see how this plays out because that's quite a bit of green. Alrighty, here we go. So the 41s, 38s should not be a problem because we've seen all those purple prints of the 38s. So if it goes down to the 38s, I think you'll see this thing drop even harder because most of the 38s have already been taken out ahead of time. Okay, there we go. So the 38s, either I missed it or it skipped right past it because it was already taken out, or most of it was already taken out with those purple prints. We're clearly getting much more than that $1 range, the average daily range. We expected the $1 move. We're getting much more than that. We're at $1.40 so far, which makes it for a much nicer day. A little bit more than a base hit today. So it's more like a triple. Alrighty. So my anticipation is that the price is going to move down even more. Again, it might be fairly hard. It might be another hard move to the downside, similar to this area here. This area here might cause another hard move to the downside. It's hard to say right now. It's not really the same type of pattern per se, but the potential is there. My current average price is the 26s, 141.26. I'm going This is almost up to $1 profit for me. Um, I think I'm going to, if price moves against me to the, let's say the 60s. If the price moves up to the 60s, then I'm going to close out my position. And with that much said, I got to take a quick break, and I'll be back ASAP. But I'll leave this video running for everybody to view this trade. Be right back. Alrighty, so I do apologize. I had to take a quick break there. Okay, um, what do we have here? So I am currently up $1 per share. Current price is 141.26. My entry price, average entry price is 141.26. Last price is 140.29. So I'm hovering around that $1 profit per share range at this moment. Unrealized profit is currently 488. Current shares used is 6,700. Net profit with counting the unrealized win as well as the realized win is 609 or 1600 area. 1600 area. However, the realized is currently 141. All right, so we have a little bit of a retracement. Bottoming tail here, lots of pressure to the downside, as you can see, not only on the 5-minute chart, but also on the 15-minute chart. Trend traders are going to need to be careful going into this area here. You might want to start considering protecting profits, perhaps even ending the trade with this $1 move. Since the stock has already exceeded the $1 move. I'm not sure how much more. I suspect that there has to be some form of a reversal coming back up, of which I think it's ideal to take profits into this range here, rather than live with it going back up, eroding away some of your profits, waiting for a pivot, placing a stop up the top to watch it go back down. If it does go back down, I don't know if it, I'm doubtful it will break the low of the day. It's very difficult to say at this moment because of the nature that it's already ran well over its average daily range of $1. It's now at what's that, $1.60 range for the day. Of course, consistency is key. So the intention of this is specifically to hit the markets and make a withdrawal from it on a daily basis. And that we're doing quite well today. And here comes another red bar. Nice little bit of red there in the time and sales. This video has now gone into 1 hour and 16 minutes, so it's a lot longer than I anticipated, but it seems like it's certainly worthwhile to display it, although it is a little bit longer. And that looks like it's currently at the low of the day. Maybe we'll see it go lower. But we should anticipate some kind of buying taking place any minute now or so soon. That was a good little bit of amount of buying pressure inside this bar here. Alrighty, it'd be nice to see a new low of the day. If we see a new low of the day, I might take off another, I might start scaling out of this position. Which actually makes me wonder why this whole entire move I only have 500 shares. Alright, so this is at the 24, another bottoming tail here. I'm going to take off. Whoops. Alright, so we got some purples coming back in again. And ask size looked a little bit larger. Alright, we'll give it another minute. Let's see what happens. We'll correlate everything. These three windows together. Alrighty, so price might be getting a little stuck here. Might be doing that little bit of a sideways thing, even though it is. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Alright, so new low of the day. Which puts us in an awkward position. I'm going to take off a couple of hundred shares here. At the 140s. Let's take a look here. See if we have any other new targets. We have something here. I don't know what that is. This 1 day here. I don't know what that is. But we'll throw down a line here. It's an awkward line. Looks like it's only 1 day of trading or something. But we'll keep an eye on it. That's roughly around the 191 range. Okay, a little bit of bottoming tail. That's a big move already. Very, very, very I won't call it parabolic, but it's certainly right up there. Okay, slowing down a little bit here. A little bit of green. I'm gonna. I only have 200 shares left, so I'm gonna take one of them off the table. And if, let's say, price goes up to, let's call it the tens, 140.10, we're going to close off the position and be done for the day. It's already gone 1 hour and 20 minutes, 22 minutes on this video, much longer than I like making these videos. Trend traders should be considering using half of this 5-minute bar as a new stop loss. So perhaps the 140.20s area, or even tighter, maybe even the 140.10 area. That's a big range to have captured if you picked off the high of the day and shorted it all the way down. That's a very big run. Congratulations for those that did that. But I'm going to be out at the 140.10s if price comes into this range here, and be done with the day and the video, and be happy that we captured a significant portion of this run. Alrighty, so we have a little bit of topping tail. This is going to be my new stop, the high of this topping tail. High is the 06s, so if it comes to, if this goes to the 07s, I'm going to be done. I'll close out the last 100 shares. Alrighty, so it'd be nice to see a new low. I'm getting a little bit more doubtful of this trade. I suspect that this hard move already is not going to produce a whole bunch more. I don't think it's going. I'm doubtful that from the high of the day, which is 141.82 to 139, well, if it goes down to 82, that'll be a whole entire $2 move when the average daily range is only $1. So for this to make a new low, or a significant new low, I am significantly doubtful that that will take place. All right, so there we go. So looks like this area here, and based on this chart, my hourly chart, you can see that I drew this awkward line there. Don't know why that, or what was the significance of that line was at this moment, but I drew that line there based on a higher time frame, and there's that little bit of bullishness. Perhaps this line, whatever it was that I drew down there, actually does have play some kind of a role. Where we're coming into 1 hour and 25 minutes on this video, exceptionally much longer than I anticipated, but the profits certainly resemble that. Alrighty, so here we go. Multiple red bars, green bar, 3 red bars, green bar, 1 red bar. It looks like a green bar is coming in. There's a green bar. If the 06s get violated or get taken out, I'm going to close this trade. Here's the 04s, 05s, 06s, and I'm done. Alrighty, so let's take a quick peek here. There was a line that clearly I did not anticipate this market's dropping this much, but I'm unsure what this date is here. this date here, but there apparently was enough activity somewhere about this specific candle that caused this area here to become an area of support. Not much to say about it. It's an awkward area, but it did prove itself. It's nice to see these target areas were taken out quite easily, actually, but nonetheless. So, hourly chart, clearly it's a downtrend, pivoting downtrend, and moving its way down. This could have broken the trend this close of the prior day, but instead the market gapped down, ran down, and continues to move down. I suspect you'll see a little retracement on the hourly chart going into the rest of the day. Not sure how much, perhaps 50% of the day's range is the most I would tolerate. So perhaps around the 140-90 area or so if I were to continue playing this to the downside. With that much said, let's take a look at some of the other charts. 15-minute chart, downtrend, multiple bars to the downside, quite a few of them actually, and ending into what looks like that area that we've seen as a target of support on the hourly time frame, and a little meandering of this green bar as we can see on the 2-minute chart, a little bit of sideways action. We closed it out at the 06s or 07s or something like that, or 05s. As you can see, it looks like it went up to the 09s or so. And this looks like a little bit of an upside move here. So I think we're pretty much done for the day. 5-minute chart, trending down onto the downside. As I mentioned earlier, because this was a bearish play and I wanted to make this a trend trading video, or at least include some information for trend traders. The retracement, the gap down, and then the retracement to the prior day's close was the entry portion, and it was supposed to be written down. I think I mentioned that this bar here was going to be where the first stop was going to be moved down to the 140-137 range. I think I also mentioned somewhere into this area or into this bar here. I don't recall, but the 10s, the 140 10s should be your final place to move your hard stop. So that would be 140 13, 140 17 or something around that range. That would be your final hard stop to trend trade this to the downside. Price can still move lower. I'm a little bit reluctant to think that that's going to be the case with this already $1 and almost $2 move on the day, with the average daily range being $1. Unusual for it to go further, but it can. Certainly can. So we're pretty much done for the day. Inside the position summary, I was trading the IWMs. My total shares is 7,200 shares traded. My net profit and loss and realized profit and loss is $1,771. So even with 7,200 shares, this was certainly a worthwhile day. And I should scribble all this kind of stuff down. 7,200. 7,200 shares realize is 1,771, and time is 10:55, which makes this a 1 hour and 25-minute video, or 85 minutes. Alrighty, so with that much said, I think we're done for the day. It was a nice 1 hour and 25-minute trade that netted us, or gave us, $1,771 in 1 hour. Well, let's call it an hour and a half. Not bad for 100 share lots, and total shares traded was 7,200. This is William Chung, founder of CoreTradingConcepts.com and author of A Guide to Core Trading Concepts. And I hope that everybody has an opportunity to read my book, A Guide to Core Trading Concepts. Please join us in our Facebook group, Core Trading Concept Groups. Please join us over on our Discord room, where there's a link inside the Facebook group for you to join us. And hopefully everybody uses A Guide to Core Trading Concepts diligently and in context in order to trade the same way or learn about how I see the markets and how I trade. And certainly looking forward to everybody becoming much more proficient and profitable. Thank you very much for your time. We look forward to working with you soon.